Interesting.
Mr. Smith, by the way, I hope you took from her presentation that sometime in the next few years, she's going to ask us to find parking spaces for 26,000 more people.
Oh, I got all
Okay.
We have a plan.
Parking really is a problem down there, guys. Thank y'all for allowing me to talk about something that I enjoy. I enjoy what I do. Thank you, each one of you, for taking a personal interest that you have in our particular situation. It is appreciated, because without your support.
She's looking at you on the click. So is he going to run the PowerPoint? You want her to do it? Okay, great.
We're okay on the microphone.
Pick up.
Are you good on the microphone?
You may have to speak up.
Yeah.
Okay, I can holler if I need to.
You speak louder on that when you're talking to me.
I'll tell you.
Sometimes that's necessary. Okay,
We're good.
it's not responding. Yeah, it's not going forward.
And if she touches and it works.
That's okay.
He's right, it's not.
He's
What'd you do to him, Alfred?
I broke it.
Are you doing job
But I can fix
duty
it.
again?
But I can fix it.
Darren must have taken the battery with her.
Are you going to drive it? Just tell her when to advance.
Okay.
Advance for us.
Go to the next slide, please.
Maybe.
I can wing it.
It's all right.
I actually got some books printed.
It's all right. Go ahead.
Okay.
They get it.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Maybe it's just froze. There you go.
Facility Services is responsible for the care and maintenance of facilities throughout the county, from simple tower sites to complex multi-story buildings ranging in age from early 1900s through the present. The average age of our building is 55 years old. Some of this is going to be kind of anticlimactic because you've seen parts of it before, okay? Okay. The Facility Services Department is responsible for housekeeping and maintenance of county buildings. Facility Services staff, which we currently have 32 full-time employees and 1 part-time employee. Our housekeeping staff is dedicated to keeping our facilities clean and pleasant. Our housekeeping staff also works with our recycling coordinator with helping departments within the county building recycle. Our staff performs many miscellaneous tasks for county departments as needed. The maintenance staff provides support in many areas, including building renovations, grounds maintenance, painting, roof repairs, electrical repairs, plumbing repairs, HVAC systems, energy management, etc. The maintenance staff is responsible for any departmental moves within the county that are coordinated through the Facility Services Office. That might sound like a simple thing. If you look at how many women we have in our county offices, we're moving constantly. Move my desk from here to there, and we gladly do that, but that's just part of what we do. All work order requests from various departments are requested by the TrackIt system through the IT department. State facility work orders are requested through email to the Facility Services Department, and then we enter them into the TrackIt system and assign the appropriate personnel. The next page is just a rundown of our staff, and I won't bother to name all those names, but one thing I would like to call attention to is our utility workers. We have over 300 acres of grass that we cut every week, and basically we have 4 groundskeepers. And also the maintenance technicians. We have over 1 million tons of heating and air conditioning, and currently we have 1 air conditioning guy. We're bringing another one on board. I'm real proud of my guys. We have to be very flexible because, as y'all have seen now, we're all over the county. The next slide is just a rundown of our housekeeping daily activities, and I don't see any need to go through that. It's just that the main thing about housekeeping to remember is that when you and your wife clean your house at home, it kind of stays clean for a few days, and maybe next Saturday you'll do it again. In our county buildings, it's nonstop. We clean them up today, and we clean them up again tomorrow, day in and day out. It takes a lot of man hours. The next slide is about our utility technicians. We primarily use them as groundskeepers, and they're responsible for maintaining the appearance of Wayne County facilities all over the county. This includes mowing in excess of 300 acres of grass, maintaining parking lots and associated traffic islands, trimming trees as necessary, edging of curbing, cleaning out gutters, and seasonal spraying to maintain weed control. They also facilitate the department moves within the county. Our maintenance staff, and I'd like to stop right here. My technicians are, for the most part, multi-crafted. He's not just a carpenter. He can also do other things. He's not just a plumber. He can do other things. It takes a unique individual to be good at several different crafts. Okay? But our maintenance staff provides carpentry services. We work on the automatic and overhead doors, painting and wall covering, pavement marking services, signs and signage, locksmith services, concrete masonry services, sheet metal work, welding, electrical services, alarms, security and environmental controls, heating, ventilating, and air conditioning, plumbing and pipe fitting services, building inspections, after-hours response support. They're on call. If there's an emergency in the county, we take care of that. We're responsible for the fire alarm testing and inspections. We monitor temperature in all of our buildings. With about 1,200 employees, you can only imagine how many requests we get daily for, I'm hot, I'm cold. We'll turn it up today, we'll turn it down tomorrow. That's just what we do. As best we can, we try to do a preventive maintenance program. Seasonal changeover, as Mr. Smith can tell you, is a big job. We're responsible for all the boiler inspections, our lift station services, grease traps, vehicle equipment services and repair, flag services. Every time somebody important dies and we want to lower the flag to half-mast, we got a load of flags we have to go to. Some of them we can't really get to, like the ones on top of the courthouse, we have to crawl out windows to get to them and so forth. Building access, meter readings, election support. When you go to vote, somebody delivered all those machines and set them up. By and large, that was us. We have several hundred fire inspections on our extinguishers that we do monthly. All the clocks in the courthouse, that's a system that has to be maintained. We maintain our own supplies. And here's something that's not on the slides. I was just thinking this morning, it's pretty easy to tell you what technically we do, but our office receives between 80 and 90 phone calls a day for some of the really unusual requests. Yesterday we got a call from the Will Sullivan building, and they said, we got a bat in here. I said, baseball bat? No, a regular bat. So I had to go find my bat catcher, and we went and tried to get him out. We get birds in the courthouse. Mr. Smith has even caught
That's
one.
my job.
He's a good bird catcher. Dead animal removal. We had some dogs chase a deer into the front door downstairs. The deer broke his neck. Somebody had to come get the deer. That falls to us. We've spoken on occasion about our permanent record storage problem. We have a lot to do with permanent records. We move all those permanent records. We have to make man hours available for that. When you guys get a box lunch, we go pick it up. Anytime there's a special event, we furnish ice, we do the setups. Day before yesterday, we got a call to dispose of a thermometer. That's hazardous waste now, technically, so we had to go pick the thermometer up. We can't dispose of it in medical waste. We have to take it to the landfill. When you look at the courthouse at Christmas and all the decorations are put up, we put those up. Takes about a week, actually. Any moves of offices, parking lot striping. As the seasons change and it gets darker sooner or later, we have to go around and adjust all the timers on the parking lot lights. These are things that you don't normally think of facility services, but trust me, it falls under somebody's umbrella. In this case, it's ours. And we're glad to do it. But the purpose of what I'm trying to tell y'all today is there's a lot under this umbrella, other than carpentry and electrical and plumbing, housekeeping. After having been in this job for some months now, I think that this new directions is where I'm at. I think it's time for a new direction in the juncture of our life cycle of our buildings. We should incorporate cyclic replacement in our budget process by recognizing that every component of a building has a life expectancy. There are, of course, variables that affect these components, such as the amount of usage and the type of occupancy. We also want to find the proper balance between preventive maintenance and corrective maintenance, in-house staffing and outsourcing. I'm trying to develop an optimal maintenance program. Guys, some failures are acceptable, okay? Some failures are acceptable. They're not desirable. A preventive maintenance program that would prevent virtually all unplanned failures would be cost prohibitive. In other words, we can't go around and replace everything before it breaks down. It just, you know. For most of our typical buildings, we need to find the correct balance between a preventive maintenance program and corrective maintenance. And you can also ask repairs. The exceptions to this philosophy would be the jail, because it's a 24/7 live-in center. We can't deal with breakdowns there. The 911 call center, I mean, that's our lifeblood. And all server rooms, which are mission critical for operation of our facilities. We are currently in the process of developing a facility condition system which will capture the condition of the building components in each building and will assist in the development of long-range plans for the care and maintenance of our county's infrastructure. The facility condition system consists of the inspection program to determine the condition, the documentation of the inspection results and condition in an automated database, the determination of work requirements and costs, and the utilization of the system information for developing and executing a systemic approach to the maintenance and care of our infrastructure. The determination of the condition comes from annual inspection of the buildings and components. The system documents for each building the condition of interior and exterior walls, floors, ceilings, ductwork, electrical fixtures, plumbing fixtures, heating systems, cooling systems, electrical and plumbing systems, and other unique components such as elevators, security systems, fire systems, pumps, and ventilation systems. The facility condition system will include information regarding the condition of painted and carpeted surfaces and allow for budget adjustments as appropriate. The program then anticipates the year and cost of next painting and carpeting, for example. The results provide a programmatic approach for decisions regarding requirements and funding. The information at that point becomes a part of the capital improvement budget development process. And what follows is a listing of the county offices in our facilities. And you've got books in y'all. I won't take up your time reading them to you, if it's okay. And the next section is state offices within our facilities. At the Borden Building, East Point is 15,000 square feet. It's what that, the top 3 floors are 15,000 square feet, and social services is 15,000 feet below. The ADAP building under our department pictures is being vacated. We're going to make good use of that part of that building for our permanent records storage. There's no limit on how much load those floors can take as there is here in the courthouse. I would like to call attention to the county office building. That square footage is wrong. Okay?
I'd already saw that.
Well, my wife accuses me of acting like I'm paying attention and I'm not. Well, sometimes I can read something, I don't pick up on it right away. And the tax card for that building does not list the square footage because it's tax exempt. I'm going to say it's in the 60 to 70,000 square foot range. It's going to be very difficult. We'll have to actually measure each floor because the building has been built in different stages and there's not a footprint that I can go measure and then multiply times 5. But I will get that updated. Do you have any questions?
Yes, sir. The East Point Morton Building,
Uh-huh.
how many square feet of space is for East Point, and how much is for
Well,
DSL?
the drawing there tells us it's 26,458.
Right.
But the East Point section of that is 15,000. The social services is a little bit shorter in square footage because there's some mechanical rooms involved. It's not actually office space.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Mayor?
at this time, what is the total number of roofs that we're going to have to either repair or replace in the future? Do you have
I think we're addressing that, Mr. Mayo. The most immediate need, obviously, is the county office building. We did the sheriff's annex, the county office building. Now, depending on what you as commissioners come up with a plan, the building that we occupy, if we're going to keep it, we've got to have a roof. I've got estimates on that. The EMS station at Dudley it's got to have a roof, you know. And one of the things that we've talked about is coming up with a design for our EMS stations and just cookie cutter it around the county. So those are some things that I'm going to need, Mr. Smith and I will need some input from y'all. You know, we do have some more roofs. Nothing major like this county office building. The rest of them will be small. The building over the 911 tower site, the brick building, that it's got to have a roof. It's got a lot of structural damage as well. It's a good brick building and it's worth the investment. So if we're going to use it, we're going to have to, and that estimate's about $28,000 for that roof. Not a lot of money, not like the county office building. but
You're
it's-
including all this to get to the facilities committee?
Yes.
Before the budget?
There'll be detail with every building along with a plan of use for building with some recommendations and ask the board to prioritize.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is that going to be coming in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're looking at dates now.
Is there a plan for an elevator in that building?
County office building? Yes, it's in design now, actually. We have, and this is not in my department, but we have our RFQs back. We got 2 really good qualified contractors.
I think we all know that needs to be.
I can't guarantee
It
it.
doesn't meet code. We got to meet code.
Yeah, and there's no parts available for it. We can't guarantee that it's going to continue.
We
So,
took you in the,
Yeah, that's, I saw it.
let's see if anybody wants for antique cars.
yeah, we
eBay.
might, yeah,
eBay.
put them on eBay. Any other questions?
Any other comments, questions from commissioners? Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to commend Milford in his setting up our tours for facilities. Very informative. A lot of things that the citizens and even commissioners of Wayne County didn't know that we owned.
I enjoyed it. You guys are a hoot.
And so I just want to thank you for coordinating it and for the information that you've given us. Most people, I go into restaurants and people say, well, I've read in the paper about your facilities tours. I say, yes, most people don't know that Wayne County owns the highway patrol station.
Right. Well, and you know,
And they said, well, we didn't either.
people don't know how much we own. People don't know what our umbrella is. that was part of what I wanted to bring out, because you had no way of knowing.
What's the total number of buildings? 98?
Yes, I have a very specific idea. It's not major buildings, but altogether, we have 52 properties that we more or less look after. And that could be a 911 tower site, but I still listed it, consider it, because, for example, most of those tower sites are at the age now, just a few years old, where this summer, we're going to have to service those air conditioning units, because that electronic equipment can't be without air conditioning in dead winter. Okay, they can't. Once they get 95 degrees, they're going to start shutting down. So that's mission critical. That's going to be a priority for us this year. We haven't had to deal with them so far because they're basically new, but now they're getting to the age where we've got to start paying attention to them.
Mr. Donner?
I suppose I do have one question, and that is, why in the world would you apply for the job you've just been granted?
I'm a glutton for punishment, I guess. But I actually do, he sent me an email last night after 8 o'clock, and he works a lot. But you know what, I was up at 4 this morning, I started emailing back. But I do enjoy what I do. It's been a good experience for me. You don't become a maintenance guy or a construction guy for a paycheck. You don't. There's easier ways to make money. Sell houses, for example. But you like to fix things. You like to build things. That's in your heart.
Yeah.
You like to do that. So I'm doing exactly what I want to do. And
Well,
thank y'all for giving me the opportunity.
Well, I do see, and I appreciate the fact that you've come in to this position and that you've got a plan of action, that you're putting forth a schedule so that we don't have as many fires to put out, where when they start to smolder, we've got something.
It's my conviction that we have got to buy into the systematic replacement of our components in these buildings.
Yeah.
And or else it's going to hit us all at one time. If we do it, you know how you eat an elephant, a bite at a time?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we want to do. We want to eat this elephant a bite at a time.
Well, I just commend you for that. The other question I have is, though, in looking at your flip chart here, what building is that?
That's one we lease called the Purser Building. It's at the end of
We don't
Center
own it.
Street.
This is the Purser building?
That's
So this
where-
is the front of the Purser building?
Right.
And this is the side?
Yes.
It's across from GOP headquarters.
Okay, yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't know where that was.
Well, I see it. I recognize the front, I did not recognize the side view.
And you know what? To be perfectly honest with you, this has been good for me because I didn't know that was our building. I had to come ask him. He said, it's on Center Street. I said, we don't have a building on Center Street. Well, yeah, we do.
And if I'm understanding correctly, the county's receiving $39,000 from the state?
This year.
Yeah, this year keeps getting cut back. We're required to supply space to probations and parole, adult probations and parole, and that's one of the spaces. And I think altogether, the lease is $48,000, and we receive 18, is it, how much is it, 18,000? We pick up, oh no, 8,000, we pick up almost 40,000 of it now.
And that's on the high end. They used to didn't pay that much.
Yeah.
The state didn't.
So what they're doing is, and I just really think probably over the next 2 to 3 years, you will pay for it, just like the Sullivan Building. That's all state offices. We pay for it. They don't reimburse you for it.
So we're probably not going to get that reimbursement, is what you're saying,
That's
very
right.
likely.
I think that's why we're looking at, as part of CIP, we're going to bring some alternatives. It's coming, we need to prepare for it, and Milford and I are working on some alternatives.
Well, I again commend you that we're starting a process whereby we're going to have budgeted replacement so that we're not hit with everything all at one time for the county. I think we've just spent $1.5 million on the jail. And that kind of hit all at one time because there wasn't a schedule in regards to ongoingly keeping proper maintenance on buildings. And it's just something that's got to be budgeted.
Well, we want to take a more of a scientific approach to what we're doing. For example, I asked for, and Mr. Smith approved, the purchase of a thermal imaging camera. We had water leaking under the sheriff's annex membrane that we didn't know about. We knew we had some leaks there, but not to the extent that it was. And as a result, the lightweight concrete under there was just worthless. It was putty. With the thermal imaging camera, I can actually look at a membrane and see if there's moisture under it. I can examine that wall. If there's a plumbing line in there that's leaking, I can find it. If there's ants in that wall, I can find it. I can look at a switchgear. One switchgear is a big 2,000 amp electrical service. If one leg's in that switchgear is running hotter than the other, it will cause a failure. I can tell the temperature differential. If there's a 2,000 amp breaker in most of our larger electrical services. As I brought out earlier, a lot of them are old. That 2,000 amp breaker is not sitting on a shelf somewhere waiting to be delivered to me.
It's true.
It will have to be specially manufactured. And in the case of the jail, that would be disastrous.
Yeah.
This type of scientific information will help us hopefully avoid that kind of nasty surprise. There can be a method to the madness. We don't have to wing it. And that's what I hope I can bring to the table.
Milford, when you brought, Mr. Chairman, the imaging camera, I know somebody said, well, that's, expensive, and it's, because it was several $1,000s. Well, the thing that sold me on that as part of the facilities budget was looking at a process. For instance, when Milford and his staff, and he's training his staff to use it too, to go into, let's use, one of the mechanical rooms in the jail. You do a photo at a certain time of the year of that facility and know that this time of day, every year, that he's going to start modeling to look at, because every day people are plugging in more stuff. Well, you're adding amperage that we don't know about. But then you can start looking, going, something's happening before it goes and goes off. You start watching those gradations of heat. That's what sold me. And I went, okay, we're modeling that. We're looking at it, thinking about, are we going to have to add? Because all departments don't tell you when they're plugging stuff in and what it's pulling. And it can be very dangerous. We got, a couple years ago, some heat from departments. We made folks pull out devices they plug in their office that smell good. That's nice, but no. Coffee pots. I mean, because it was dangerous. And that was part of facilities recommended and said, we don't need to do this. We need to centralize, cut down electricity, and we had a discussion. Those little things make a big difference. So they're doing a good job.
We'll also use this imaging to survey a building's entire components, motors, pumps, bearings, and it'll be a benchmark. And in 6 months or a year from now, when we go back to check it, we can tell by the temperature differential if there's deterioration, if we're going to have a problem. Like I say, there's a method to the madness. We'll just get to it.
Well, thank you so much. Anything else?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, sir, Mr. Mann.
I have one other, I forgot to ask something. This may be more directed to our county manager. Do we have, or can we get, if we don't have, the updates of our properties in Wayne County that may be rented or leased to outside, whether it be state organizations or somebody?
It's going to be included in the list.
Okay.
We're going to have income, we're going to have space, we've got, within each building, we're going to have repairs built into not only this year, but future years, potential replacement of a building, or an idea of we vacate it or sell it, just as, and then the facilities committee will take, but we're including all that in the spreadsheet on everything.
Okay, so if there, for example, is a triple net lease, then we will know, you will specify what that lease is, right?
That's right.
Okay.
We'll just give you, little brief details of what we
Yeah.
receive.
Okay.
We're including everything.
Yeah.
Any other comments? I have one in January. About the second week in January, I approached our county manager. I told him that as chairman, I wanted to submit him an idea, and I felt like the commissioners would support me on this, to jump out here and do a facility study. County manager said this has never been done before, not like this. I said, well, let's try it. And Mr. Smith took it by the horns, and we put together a facility committee and started getting a lot of questions in the media and calls. And, well, today you're seeing fruition of that. You're seeing
And the ideas have come at last 90 days. Been a lot of hard work, January, February, March. We've been working really hard in facilities with the direction of Mr. Smith and Mr. Milford Smith. You've come up with new directions here. And then you come up with a system, a facilities condition system. And I commend you, and we do, as commissioners. We're excited about looking at this plan and watching it over the years and saving the tax dollars that would have potentially been wasted, as maybe have been, and keeping these facilities up to date. I'm seeing good things here, and I know I speak for all the commissioners. We're excited to get to the budget process here in about another 35, 40 days and see what we got to look forward to.
We appreciate your
Thank you,
interest.
Mr. Milford Smith.
We appreciate
Thank
your
you.
interest a lot.
It's 11:30. That will conclude our morning session. To go to a lunch at 11:30 to 12:30. Come back and do a recess, and come back at 12:30.